Hello, my name is Dr. Antonio Wolff. I'm Interim Director of the Breast and GYN Malignancies Group at Johns Hopkins. The number of women diagnosed with breast cancer every year continues to rise. Today, about 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer over the course of their lifetime. But while progress continues to be made in developing new therapies, about 40,000 women still die every year. And therefore, we now realize that the best way to cure breast cancer is to prevent it. The Fetting Fund for Breast Cancer Prevention at Johns Hopkins was founded to help us find and identify the women most at risk and to develop prevention strategies to beat this disease before a diagnosis is made. Today, we're talking with Fetting Fund researchers, Drs. Emily Ambinder, an associate professor of radiology, and Dr. Jessica Tao, an assistant professor of oncology here at Johns Hopkins. So let me start with the first question, and I'll start with you, Dr. Ambinder. Tell us a little bit about your background and your interest in breast cancer prevention.
I'm a breast imaging radiologist, and I have a strong interest in early detection of breast cancer and breast cancer prevention. Breast cancer is so common. As a breast radiologist, I diagnose breast cancer every week. I see that the earlier breast cancer is detected, the more treatment options are available to our patients, and the more likely they are to have a complete cure.
Now let me turn to you, Dr. Tao. Tell us a little bit about your background and your interest in breast cancer prevention.
I'm a medical oncologist specializing in the care of patients with breast cancer. Part of what I do is also, as a researcher, help translate findings from the laboratory into the clinic and then back. As I see a lot of patients in clinic and try to develop new therapies, I realized that it was important to also prevent cancer even before it was detected.
It is so good to know about your backgrounds. Thank you for sharing. Let me ask my next question, starting with you, Dr. Ambinder. Tell us a little bit about the project that the two of you are doing with support from the Fetting Fund.
So the current standard of care for breast cancer screening is screening mammography. And screening mammography is an excellent imaging modality, and we do find a lot of early breast cancers with it. But I do see that it's not perfect. We find a lot of findings that don't turn out to be a breast cancer. And we also still have women come in with advanced cancers that I think it's possible could have been detected earlier. So I saw this place where there is a need for additional research.
Our project, called the Early Project, is trying to identify better ways to detect breast cancer earlier, before even imaging modalities, traditional imaging modalities like mammography or MRI, could pick up a breast cancer. We are trying to develop new technologies that use a blood test called a liquid biopsy to pick up fragments of DNA that cancer cells shed into the bloodstream. These types of new technologies have the potential to improve the quality of traditional breast imaging screening.
My final question to the two of you is to help us all understand the importance of the Fetting Fund in supporting the work that you're doing today.
The Fetting Fund has really allowed us to get this project off the ground. We now have a dedicated research assistant. We're recruiting patients from multiple sites across the Johns Hopkins campuses, and we're collecting archive samples from Johns Hopkins and other institutions.
The Fetting Fund has really helped researchers like Dr. Ambinder and myself develop high risk but high impact ideas that aren't traditionally so easy to get larger funding for. The results from the Fetting Fund will help us apply for multi-year larger grants in the future.